I'm Jim Mamer, and I teach in Springfield, Ohio, and I'm officially brain dead. I hit a brick wall last night, and
Monday.
I got excited this morning, I'm dead again. But I teach, I'm the only teacher for my school for grades 6th, 7th, and 8th grade for math. So my kids only see me for 3 straight years, and I've been doing nothing but connected math 100% of the time for 18 years.
Woohoo!
I'm going last this time.
Okay, Mr. Mamer, would you like to go first on
Sure.
thoughts on organizing notebooks?
Okay, I think I pretty much do. I have a 3-ring binder. I'm co-teaching with somebody who uses a journal and lets kids in, and it's great, and it works for her, but I have a binder, and I kind of do what I read in the Purple Book last night, where it talked about ways that you could organize your work. I think it was last night in the Purple Book, but I have tabs, and so the kids have a tab for daily work. For me, it's a tab for daily work. For me, daily work is the problem itself. It's any ACE questions we did, and it's the reflections. For me, you know what I mean? We all are going to be doing different things here, but for me, that's their daily work section. And then the second section that they have is a section for notes. And the notes are when we all come together on something that we're kind of believing we get this concept, or we get this algorithm, or we get this definition of some word, and so we go to our notes and we put it in there. That's for me, the way I do it, for notes. So I have that tab. And at the beginning of the year, I'm always really, really good with notes, because I know notes really do make, they are a good way to formalize our thoughts, and then to have it in writing that we can go find easily. And I've read all sorts of things that say that you should be doing this, and I do it really good the first semester, kind of, and by the second semester, in the last 9-week grading period, I'm not doing notes. I'm blowing it. And so I trail off as the year goes on, even though I think it's really, really important. And but that's notes. All right, the third section I have is assessments, formal assessments. So it's our checkups, our partner quizzes, our tests. Sometimes I give an exit slip just so I can know what the kids are knowing. But most of the time, that's an informal thing. I don't know the full definitions, but it's something that's a place where we put things that I really put points on, that I really look at every answer and I see if you're right or wrong, and I put a judgment on it, and they put it in their binders. So that's my third, and then I have a section for other, and that's pretty much it. And then as far as checking my binder, there was somebody a long time ago that talked, like, I'm really bad at checking their binders. I say we're going to use them. We pull out and we do our notes. I collect work once after every investigation. Every time we finish an investigation, I collect the work. I look at the work very quickly. It's informal. I give them some points just because I value process, and I want to give them some credit for doing some things to build towards learning before we take a quiz or a test. But then I give it back to them, and they put it back in their binder, and they keep it throughout that entire unit. When we finish that unit, all that work, I let the kids take it out if they want when we're done with the unit. They're allowed to take out the daily work part if they want. I think it's fixed.
Good. In terms of organizing notes, how do you do that? Is it during the summary section or during the explore section? When do the kids?
It all depends for me. Most of the time, it's probably at the end of the lesson, most of the time. But once in a while, we might have a vocabulary word that we're gonna talk about at the beginning of the lesson. But I really like to do it after kids have come to an understanding of something before we go try to put it in the notes. The person they're sitting next to, they're going to do the partner quiz with that person they're sitting next to in that unit, the person they worked with the entire time. But there is 3 or 4 people at every group, depends on how many kids are in the class. And if it is a group of 4, it's the person beside them, even though there's times where like we pair up working sometimes. Sometimes we're on one large sheet of chart paper working as a group of 4. That could be going on. And then as far as how I decide who's going to be where, I mix it up all year long because I have 2 sons now. One's 20, almost 23, and one is 19, and one just finished college, the other one just started. But I can remember them going through school, and sometimes, like I remember Logan, our youngest, he's going to be an industrial engineer, kicks butt, he's about like torn in high school, he really knows his stuff, and way better than I ever did. But I can remember in 3rd or 4th grade, him coming home, he was going to school where my wife did, and he was saying, yeah, I'm with Tommy all day long, Dad. Doesn't matter what subject we're in, I'm with Tommy all day long. And it's because Logan is really kind and caring, and he was really good at explaining things. And that was like 10 years ago, and I was looking at myself, I was like, I do the same thing. It's verbally stating things over and over again. We've been saying this in our 6th grade room all week. It's just code, it's verbal feedback. It's talking to the kids one-on-one. It's praising groups out loud in front of everybody, saying, gosh, I can't believe the way this is happening here. It's modeling. Hey, before we start this lesson, I want to talk to you guys again what it means to me. I heard a conversation yesterday in another room. I'm going to talk about the kind of conversation I heard. I just loved what was going on. The one girl didn't have a pencil in front of her. You know, if you read that article from Steve Reinhardt, never saying anything a kid can say. Tori was doing Tori, you were doing such a great job. I heard this earlier. I heard a student saying it. You just praise. You have an expectation for how you want kids to act. And when they're not acting that way, you just start trying 8 billion different things to try to help eliminate those things that are not being productive to learning. And there's just so many things that pop up with this, but you have to have a high expectation for what you believe kids can do. And then if you're watching videos in these rooms, my kids aren't like that, so what? Think about what would you like, and how could you help your class be a little better tomorrow? And how could you help your class cooperate a little better the next day? And can you make little bits of growth? It doesn't matter about anybody else. Can you make your kids grow? And we all can if we just look at ourselves and have a high expectation about what we expect, and verbally state things.
Not kidding.
Here's another thing, because I've had a lot of student teachers, and I was a math coach, got to go around my district. Another thing that's a biggie is you yourself do your problems ahead of time. And you yourself decide, in this page full of problems, what's the most important. And you get that. Some days it's all of those questions. Some days it's not. Go read your summary. Go read the math in the unit. Try your best to know the lesson as best you can. If this is your first year, you're just going to be in survival mode, but you're going to try to do this best you can. But after 2 years, after 3 years, after 4 years, you're going to get better at knowing what's that real goal again, the focus question and all that. The more you know that, the better you'll question kids when they're working, the better you'll launch a problem, the better you'll back off and let the kids work, and the more the kids will start cooperating with each other, because if you do this better and better day after day, they start believing, I really can do this problem. And if we can't, we're going to get a little bit of help, and you keep doing that, and things get better and better because you know your math well, you know the goal well, and you know the types of questions to ask well. Do you know what I mean? A lot of people want all these things on what can I do to make a room better. Really know your stuff, and make sure you're helping kids grow with the content. I'm kidding. But I don't have anything to add. I do have this to add. I feel your pain because every single day I'm dying. That bell's going to ring. I got 50 to 55 minute periods. That bell's going to ring, and man, I haven't done the summary I wanted to do completely. And then I just try to decide how much am I going to do the next day at the beginning of the class when they leave and could care less, and they do 4 other subjects the next day before they come back to my room. And it's like, what were we talking about yesterday?
Yeah, it's like starting over.
Yeah, so it's a struggle we all have.